there may well be a time delay on this next conversation, and my apologies if there is, because I'm going down to Perth, Australia. You will know of the story, if you've been following it, of Charlie McCarthy. He died. He was Cork man who's down living in Australia with his wife and children, and they were out of a night back in 2017. And whatever happened on that night, Charlie McCarthy, at the age of 32, lost his life on the 23rd of December 2017. There was an altercation with a fisherman after a night out. Apparently, Charlie McCarthy had left a Christmas party at the Swan River Yacht Club in East Fremantle with his wife Nicole and a colleague. There were three of them, when their paths crossed, if you like, with a fella by the name of Andrew Doan, who was fishing in the area with another friend of his. This ended up in court. There's a big court case over it. And at the end of the day, Doan claimed that it was self-defense. It involved a screwdriver. He was found not guilty of murder, and he was found not guilty of manslaughter. Now, Charlie McCarthy's family issued a statement to me last Friday following the verdict. They said, as a family, we are truly heartbroken. The outcome of the trial was never going to bring Charlie back. We wanted justice for Charlie. The verdict was not justice. We will continue to remember Charlie for the wonderful man he was. He was loved by all. Charlie's family here in Perth and at home in Ireland would like privacy at this time. And that's what they were given, privacy at that time. But Daniel McCarthy, Charlie's brother, got in touch with me and wanted to have a conversation on air, and I'm happy to oblige him with that. And he joins me by phone. Forgive me if there's a delay. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning, Neil. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Again, for the record, you're down in Australia. You're in Perth. Are you with your own family and Charlie's immediate family as well, I believe? Is that right?
I am, yeah.
Okay. Now, you asked for privacy at the back end of last week. And
yeah, we were sort of devastated. We didn't actually know what to do at the present time.
I understand. I was just going to ask you, why have you reached out at this point in time? And why have you, Daniel?
Do you know, like, and some of the papers there and stuff like that, you know, like, the press kind of tarnished Charlie's name, you know, saying stuff in the trial and everything about him. He was a drunk and all this kind of stuff.
Was that said? Like, I mean,
that's not the person Charlie was. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, they totally took it out, like, you know, of, like, you know, the typical stereotype, like the Australians were saying about the Irish, you know, drunks and all that kind of way.
Okay, now I don't have any of those articles. Are you saying that some of the tabloids went over the top in how they described him on the night or in general?
Yeah, and also stuff online, you know, like social media, Facebook and comments and stuff like that, you know? Yeah, saying that, that all too often when the Irish go down to Australia, they get into trouble. Is it things like that? Yeah, and one comment that really stood out was something along the lines, another McGregor or something like this, you know, which wasn't the case at all, you know, the kind of way.
Okay, so yeah, and unfortunately you saw it. It would have been better if you hadn't, but you did, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And you were there for the trial, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you sat through it, and then the verdict came in, not guilty of murder, not guilty of manslaughter. Doan said it was in self-defense. What happened on that night? I mean, what do you know of what happened?
Well, basically, the gist of it is they ordered a cab, like a Hoover, they call it over here, from where they were, to go back to the hotel, because they said they'd stay in a hotel. They had babysitters for the kids. Because, like, Charlie wouldn't have went out much. Like, you know, if he did, maybe 4 times in a year, if that. You know, like, he wasn't a drinker or anything like that. It was only a work party. And
himself and his wife and a workmate or something, then, was it?
Yeah, all the work people were there, but they were going back to this certain hotel.
Right. Okay.
Do you know?
Okay.
And the Hoover didn't turn up, so basically they started walking back to the hotel, roughly around 25 minutes away it is.
Okay.
And as they walked back, his friend Jason just asked him, "Did you catch anything?" That's all these two fishermen.
The two lads were fishing, yeah, and they said, "Did you catch anything?"
Yeah, they were walking out. They were coming out of the water. They didn't catch anything, so they say. And basically, they were coming out of the water, and that's all it was said. And Charlie turns around and, hard luck, lads, something like that. And next thing, his friend Jason turns around and says, "Messing. Oh, the fisheries, we'll see what the fisheries say about that." Just joking.
What did that mean, though? What did that mean?
Basically, the fisheries is you're not allowed to catch smaller fish or something like that, you know. there's a law on what size fish you can catch and so on. I wouldn't know much about it now, but I do know there's some kind of, they're a government body, the fisheries.
Yeah. Because there was some talk at some stage in the trial that Asians were being accused of taking fish that were too small and that was illegal or something. Was that right?
Yeah, but it's not just Asians. That law is there for everyone.
I know, but this was being given as evidence in the court, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, it was being given as evidence, but then that backtracked on us because some of his character witnesses were saying how he used to joke about fisheries. So then, what I couldn't understand, if this man was joking about fisheries all the time, why did he take such offence to them saying it? And
what happened after Jason said, "We'll see what the fisheries say about that"? Kind of a throwaway, kind of smart alecky, I suppose. Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
that's all it was. And he basically they walked on their business a couple of 100 metres up the road, and as they did, Doan said it to his other friend. What did they say? Blah blah. Did you hear what they said or whatever? And he said, "Oh, forget about it. It's nothing." And he then took it upon himself to throw his fishing net and whatever else he had in his hands to the floor near his jeep, and then went off after them and started threatening them or whatever, started jogging up the road or such a thing to them.
He began following the group when he heard a remark that he perceived to be racist. Yeah.
Well, so he said was racist.
Oh, I know, but I'm only dealing with the evidence in court because I wasn't there.
Yes,
the only people that would have been there would have been Doan, his buddy, Charlie, Jason and
Nicole.
And Nicole, yeah. Okay.
And basically then that's when the confrontation started.
Right.
Your man starts shouting at them. Nicole and them said it was with the weapon in their hand. He says it wasn't until he maintains that Charlie put his chest out to him.
Now, he had a screwdriver, forgive me now, I'm trying to recall,
in his hand.
In a hoodie pocket, I think, actually, wasn't it?
At the start.
Okay.
Yeah, at the start he did, screwdriver in the hoodie pocket.
Okay. And
then when he got up close to them, he basically had the screwdriver in his hand and said basically he was going on about, I'm sticky racist, this and that, and then Charlie and Jason and Nicole said, what are you on about? We didn't use any racial comments, which they didn't.
Right.
And next thing, when the lads kind of said, we didn't, and back off, whatever, he then threatened to stab Charlie. He said, I'll stab you.
Yeah, Doan said that he grabbed the screwdriver from his hoodie pocket that he used while fishing.
Yeah.
Would you use a screwdriver?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, and he held it over his head and he said...
I'm not quite sure about that.
Yeah, he said, he held it over his head and he said, get back or I'll stab you.
Yeah, that was his version.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
That was his version, but Nicole and Jason's version is totally different.
What did they say?
So she was petrified, Nicole was. Do you know what I mean? For a woman to wet herself when someone's coming towards you, there must have been fear put into her.
Misfortune. Did that happen to her? Yeah, I didn't know that.
That happened to her twice on the night. So... And obviously, the real person, if he could come back, God rest him, Charlie, to tell us exactly. But, we just, don't know,
Doan went back to his car, though, didn't he, at that stage?
Yeah, so basically, Jason was going back to take pictures, basically saying you can't be doing this, take pictures of his registration.
Can't be threatening somebody with a screwdriver. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So okay, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So your man went back to his car.
When he went back to his car, then the altercation, there was a kind of verbal between himself and Jason.
Yeah.
And one of them said to Jason, you shouldn't be taking them pictures, delete them pictures and all that. And Jason said he wasn't deleting them, and we don't know exactly what happened from there on. Where any going, whatever was said on both sides.
He said Doan then said that Charlie lunged, that they fell to the ground, that Doan raised his hand to protect himself, closed his eyes, forgot he was holding the screwdriver. When he opened his eyes, Charlie was on the ground.
Yeah. But how could that happen?
And he'd been stabbed.
How would you forget something like that in your hand if you're making a threat?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Basically this happened within 5 and 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Now,
from making the threat and then
Doan stayed there at the scene then, and the police arrived. He claimed it was self-defense, but he was prosecuted in court for it In fact, I think the prosecutor at the time said to the jury that all Jason had ever said was a smart-ass kind of throwaway comment. Doan said that it wasn't, that it was racist because there was a stereotype that all Asians catch undersized fish, you know?
Yeah.
That's what he said was...
That's what he says. But he was joking about that on several different character witnesses he had when he had the fisheries come on board boats they were on. And he laughed and joked with the fisheries. So I don't understand how he said that upset him so much. Do you know?
Yeah. He forgot, closed his eyes, forgot he was holding the screwdriver. Were emergency services called on the night? I mean, obviously Nicole and Jason were there with Charlie. Did he die straight away? Do you mind me asking, or was it sometime afterwards?
Nicole resuscitated him, and by the time, I think it was later on in the hospital, because when myself and Siobhan that time got there straight away from Ireland, we went into the hospital thinking he was still alive, but he wasn't. There was only a machine keeping his body going. So, you know.
My God. And was there a decision then made to turn that machine off?
When he's, because they did tests on his brain and so on. Do you know?
They found that there was no function there.
Yeah, I presume so. I don't know all the details of it. You know?
I know. And that was December 23rd, 2017. Like, that's well over a year and 5 months ago.
Yeah.
What happened then? Then there was a big police investigation into this, yeah?
Yeah.
And you figured that you would get justice in court. Your statement on Friday said that the verdict was not justice.
No, there was no justice in what got dealt out. Would you say?
Yeah. Was it a jury trial? Was it a jury trial?
Yeah, there was 14 in the jury first, then down to 12. You know, because in case someone backed out.
Yeah. And he was charged with the murder of the two. The jury went out. Yeah. And found him not guilty of murder, as well as the lesser charge of manslaughter. So they believed self-defense.
It's not that they believed self-defense. It's because if you were in any doubt, that's the way the judge put it to them. If you weren't 99%, if there was any doubt, that's the way he put it to them.
And the doubt would have been created by, I raised my hands to protect myself, I closed my eyes, I forgot I was holding the screwdriver. When I opened my eyes, he was on the ground. That's the doubt. Yeah. It was him claiming self-defense. So if you have any doubt, if in doubt, acquit.
Yeah, something along them. He gave him, basically those 7 questions. If you don't have the answer to this question, and then the answer to that question, and so on. You know, there's kind of that's how they do the system or something.
In spite of the evidence of Jason and Nicole, he was still found.
Yes.
Not guilty of both.
Yeah. Well, his barrister was quite a crafty barrister, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, he was fairly top notch, right?
Top notch.
And the barrister for the state, my view on it, the barrister for the state was shocking.
Is that right? Yeah.
Shocking. A few times we had to correct them.
I think if you're up for manslaughter or if you're up for murder, you want a barrister who's playing their A game, though, don't you?
Who's awake, not half asleep.
I know.
And not saying silly stuff like forgetting someone's name.
That shouldn't be happening.
Do you know?
No, that should not.
No,
be
not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
No, like you shouldn't have to correct him. Like when he starts saying Mr. McCarthy's use, your use as a vehicle. Like there was no vehicle there belonged to Charlie, and he kept using different stuff he shouldn't have used. It was like he was half asleep.
Did Andrew Doan ever apologise in court or say that he was sorry for the tragedy?
No, there was no remorse whatsoever. No remorse. You know, even the way that I won't go into detail now, but the way the solicitor went on at Nicole, you know, it was too hard for her. You know, he had no remorse or nothing towards her, even when he was, you know.
When Nicole was being cross-examined while giving evidence.
Yeah. You know,
must have been very upsetting for her as a wife and mother.
Oh, very upsetting. Yeah, very upsetting. I mean, she closed her eyes at night time and gets flashbacks all the time. That's what she says.
Of the night itself and what happened. I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about Charlie himself. He died at the age of 32.
Yeah.
He's a Cork man. Why did he go? Did they marry here and go? Were the children born there? What was
No, he went over with all his friends. It would have been 10 years he would have been here now, if he was still here. So he went with a few of his friends from Aghada. They all went I'm not quite sure the month now, but I remember dropping him to the airport. And
he'd have been early 20s at that stage, wouldn't he, Daniel? Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been. Yeah, he would have been going on 23 that way. Or he would have been 23, should I say? And out there for work. And then a couple of years later, he met Nicole, got married, and then the kids. He did come back to Ireland for a year. They missed Australia. They went back again. They enjoyed the sun life, I suppose, and that. He was basically, he did everything for his kids and his family. And he loved where he came from. Like, he loved the Aghada J. He loved everyone of the family. If you asked anyone in the East Cork area and further afield, no one would have ever had a bad word to say about Charlie McCarthy. He was just liked by everyone. His chuckle, his smile, that kind of way.
Yeah, he was a family man, loved his kids, loved his wife.
Yeah.
He was a working man. Was he working in the trades out there, or what was he doing?
Yeah, he was cable laying. Like, his boss was like his best friend.
So this was not a fella who was a messer or trouble or constantly acting the maggot or out on the piss or, none of those things.
I'm not even sure if he ever got a speeding fine, even, to be honest.
He was
just very law-abiding.
He was
very
a family man. He was much-loved family man, much loved by his colleagues.
He was everyone's kind of guy. Everyone loved him. His name was Chuck, whatever, We used to call him in the family the golden boy. Do you know what I mean? That's what we nicknamed him. You'd always be joking in the family, like.
Yeah. Your parents alive?
They are, yeah.
And how are they?
My mother, like, my father's too, but my mother is a broken woman. Like, Charlie would have rang her 5, maybe 6 times a week.
You're joking.
When he was driving to work or whatever he was doing, yeah. He was very close to the mother, very, very close. So, to her and the rest of the family, but the mother will never be the same again after this.
Was he the oldest son?
No, I'm the oldest son.
I thought the oldest was the golden boy. He beat you to that, did he?
No, Charlie was the middle child.
The golden boy.
Yeah.
Your poor mother. Your poor mother.
And the hardest part then, like, his kids lived over here as well still, Do you know what I mean? And Charlie's buried over here as well, so it's really hard for her.
And is that what Nicole
travelled before?
She travelled over for the funeral?
Yeah, and when he was here that time, she never was on a plane in her life before that,
So the only time that she was on a plane was to bury her son in Australia. My God.
Yeah, so, and she's been through a tough year as it is. Besides, God rest poor Charlie now tonight. My sister had stage 4 cancer, Michelle. That would be Charlie's Irish twin. They're the same age in 1 year.
Yeah.
And so my mother had a tough battle all the year with Michelle,
And will Nicole stay there with the kids? Is that the plan?
Yeah, her parents live here as well, you see, and her brother and sister.
Is she an Australian girl?
She's also a twin. Yeah, she is, yeah. She's a twin herself.
So how long will you stay down there? You'll have to come back at some stage.
I'll be staying here for Clara, Charlie's baby girl's birthday will be on the 26th, and I'll fly home on the 27th.
And how old are the kids?
Niall is 3 and Clara is 6 now on the 26th this month.
They must be asking questions.
Sure. I'll give you an example the other day. I went over to the house for the first time and I said to Nicole, sorry, will I cut the grass there for you, whatever. Poor Clara, my daddy used to do that. Went with Niall to the shops, held his hand, and as we're walking into the shops, like, he's only 3, my daddy this, my daddy that. It's so heartbreaking. Because he was a very hands-on dad. He did everything with his kids, for his kids.
Oh, it's beyond heartbreaking.
Yeah, he's so many plans that he doesn't have now,
Well, you're here talking for him and correcting what you say was maybe unfair criticism in media. But upon that day, last Friday, to the memory of Charlie McCarthy, you believe that justice was not done.
No, it wasn't done at all. It wasn't done at all. Not done at all.
But this is the end of the road.
We want to get out there what kind of person Charlie really was.
Yeah.
He was an amazing guy, like.
Yeah. You've done a good job doing that this morning, Daniel. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not just saying because I'm his brother. Like, you could ask anyone in the area and they'd tell you the same thing.
I know.
I
know. So, well, he'd be very proud of you to be there for his wife and his 2 children at this time, That's what brothers are about.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you called. I really am. I'm glad that you took the opportunity to come on and tell us a little bit more about Charlie, the family man that he was, and how much he was loved by family and friends and work colleagues. I wish you well, and feel free to stay in touch, Daniel. But thank you so much for taking my call.
All right. Thanks very much, Neil.
All right. Take care of yourself. Daniel McCarthy, Charlie McCarthy's brother.